positive, work hard and make it happen. Happy morning dear students. I am welcoming you all to this online class. In previous session, we completed 4 chapters and we are moving on with the 5th chapter, molecular genetics, and we have completed up to DNA replication. Today, we are going to discuss about transcription, genetic code and tRNA. First, we see what is transcription. Francis Crick proposed the scent dogma in molecular biology, which states that genetic information flows from DNA to RNA and then to proteins. The DNA on transcription converted into RNA and by translation is converted into proteins. So what is transcription? The process of copying the genetic information from one strand of DNA into RNA. So transcription means copying DNA into RNA is termed as transcription. This process takes place in presence of DNA dependent RNA polymerase. In some retroviruses like HIV, the flow of information is reversed. RNA synthesizes DNA by reverse transcription, then transcribed into mRNA by transcription and then into proteins by translation. For a cell to operate, its genes must be expressed. The RNA that carries the genetic information encoding a protein from genes into a cell is known as messenger RNA. For a gene to be transcribed, the DNA, which is a double helix, must be pulled apart temporarily, and RNA is synthesized by RNA polymerase. This enzyme binds to DNA at the start of a gene and opens the double helix. Finally, RNA molecule is synthesized. The nucleotide sequence in the RNA is complementary to the DNA template strand from which it is synthesized. Both the strands of DNA are not copied during transcription. How? Why? We have to ask such questions. Both the strands of DNA are not copied, but only one strands are copied. Why? The reasons are, if the both strands act as template, they would code for RNA with different sequences. This in turn would code for proteins with different amino acid sequence. This would result in one segment of DNA coding with two different proteins. Hence, complication occurs in the genetic information transfer machinery. The other reason is, if two RNA molecules were produced simultaneously, double-stranded RNA complementary to each other would be formed. This would prevent RNA from being translated into proteins. So, only one strand of RNA is copied to DNA is copied to RNA. Next, we see what is transcription unit and the genes involved. A transcriptional unit in DNA is defined by 3 regions: a promoter, the structural gene, and a terminator. The promoter is located towards the 5' end. It is a DNA sequence that provides binding site for RNA polymerase. In this 5' end only, the RNA polymerase gets binded to synthesize the RNA. The presence of promoter in transcription unit defines the template and coding strands. The terminator, that means the end region, located towards the 3' end of the coding strand, contains a DNA sequence that causes the RNA polymerase to stop transcribing. In eukaryotes, the promoter has the AT-rich region called Tata box. And in prokaryotes, this region is called Pribnow box. Pribnow box. Besides promoter, eukaryotes also require an enhancer. The two strands of DNA in the structural gene of transcription unit have opposite polarity. DNA-dependent RNA polymerase catalyzes the polymerization in only one direction. The strand that has the polarity 3' to 5' that acts as a template and is called as template strand. The other strand which has the polarity 5' to 3' has a sequence same as RNA except thymine instead of uracil, because DNA contains thymine and RNA contains uracil and is displaced during transcription, and this strand is called as coding strand. So what is template strand and coding strand? Template strand means 3' to 5' act as template, that is called template strand. The other strand, that is 5' to 3' that act as a coding strand. The structural gene may be monocistronic or polycistronic. In eukaryotes, each mRNA carries only a single gene and encodes information for only a single protein and is called as monocistronic mRNA. In prokaryotes, cluster of related genes known as operon. The cluster of gene is called as operon, often found next to each other on the chromosome or transcript together to give a single mRNA. Hence, they are called as polycistronic. Polycistronic is found in prokaryote and monocistronic is found in eukaryote. Before starting the transcription, the RNA polymerase binds to the promoter, a recognition sequence in front of the gene. Bacterial RNA polymerase consists of two major components, the core enzyme and the sigma subunit. So, this bacterial RNA polymerase consists of two components. One is the core enzyme, another one is the sigma subunit. The core enzyme beta 1, beta and alpha is responsible for RNA synthesis, whereas a sigma subunit is responsible for recognition of the promoter, which promoter is binds at the promoter site. Promoter sequence vary in different organisms. RNA polymerase opens up the DNA to form the transcription bubble. The core enzyme moves ahead, manufacturing the RNA, leaving the sigma subunit behind at the promoter region. The end of the gene is marked by the terminator sequence that forms a hairpin structure in the RNA. The subclass of terminators require recognition protein known as the Rho, that means like this symbol, to function. Next, we see process of transcription. In prokaryotes, there are three major types of RNAs: mRNA, tRNA, and rRNA. All three RNAs are needed to synthesize a protein in a cell. The mRNA provides the template, tRNA brings amino acids and reads the genetic code, and rRNA play structural and catalytic role during translation. There is a single DNA-dependent RNA polymerase that catalyzes transcription of all types of RNA. It binds to the promoter and initiates transcription. So that is called as initiation. The polymerase's binding sites are called promoters. The polymerase where it binds in the DNA is called as promoter. It uses the nucleoside triphosphate as substrate and polymerizes in a template dependent fashion following the rule of complementary. After the initiation of transcription, the polymerase continues to elongate the RNA, adding one nucleotide after another to the growing RNA chain. Only a short stretch of RNA remains bound to the enzyme. When the polymerase reaches a terminator at the end of the gene, the nascent RNA falls off. So, also the RNA polymerase. The question is, how the polymerases are able to catalyze
the three steps, that is initiation, elongation and termination. The RNA polymerase is capable of catalyzing the process of elongation. The RNA polymerase associates transiently with the initiation factor sigma and termination factor rho. Initiation factor is the sigma factor and the termination factor is the rho. To initiate or terminate, to start or to end the transcription respectively. Association of RNA with these factors instructs the RNA polymerase either to initiate or to terminate the process of transcription that you can see in this picture. In bacteria, since the mRNA does not require any processing to become active, and also since transcription and translation takes place simultaneously in the same compartment. Why transcription and translation occurs in the same compartment simultaneously? Since there is no separation of cytosol, that means cytoplasm and nucleus in bacteria. That means there is no nuclear membrane. Many times the translation can begin much more before the mRNA is fully transcribed. This is because the genetic material is not separated from other cell organelles by nuclear membrane. So what is the reason why bacteria undergoes transcription and translation simultaneously? Because the genetic material is not separated from the other cell organelles by a nuclear membrane. In eukaryotes, there are at least 3 RNA polymerases in the nucleus. That means in addition to RNA polymerase found in the organelles. So there is a clear division of labor. All will do different works. The RNA polymerase 1 transcribes rRNAs, whereas RNA polymerase 3 is responsible for transcription of tRNA. And the RNA polymerase 2 transcribes the precursor of mRNA and the heterogeneous nuclear RNA. So these are the functions of RNA polymerase 1, 2 and 3. In eukaryotes, the monocystonic structural genes have interrupted, that means interrupted coding sequence that is known as exons. The monocystonic structural genes having interrupted coding sequence is called as exons, expressed sequence, and non-coding sequences are called as introns. Coding sequences are called as exons and non-coding sequences are called as introns. The introns are removed by the process called splicing. What is meant by splicing? So the introns are removed by the process called splicing. hnRNA, that means heterogeneous RNA, nuclear RNA, undergoes additional processing called capping and tailing. Capping and tailing. In capping, an unusual nucleotide methylguanosine triphosphate is added to the 5' end, whereas the adenylate residues, that means 200 to 300 poly A, are added to the 3' end in tailing. In capping, unusual nucleotide is added in 5', whereas the adenylate residues are added in 3'. Thereafter, this hnRNA, now called mRNA, is transported out of the nucleus for translation. The split gene feature of eukaryotic genes is almost entirely absent in prokaryotes. Originally, each exon may have coded for a single polypeptide chain with a specific function. Each exon, that means the coding sequences, is with a specific function. Each exon have specific function with single polypeptide chain, that means a single protein. Since exon arrangement and introns removal are flexible, the exon coding for the polypeptide subunit act as domain, combining in various ways to form new genes. If introns arose late, how did they enter into the eukaryotic gene? Introns are mobile DNA sequences that can splice themselves out of as well as into specific target sites, acting like a mobile transposon like elements. That means that mediate transfer of the genes between the organisms, horizontal gene transfer. This HGT, horizontal gene transfer, occurs between the lineages of prokaryotic cells or from the prokaryotic to eukaryotic cells or between the eukaryotic cells. Next, we see what is genetic code. The information needed to direct the synthesis of protein is contained in the mRNA in the form of genetic code. The genetic code is the system of nucleotide sequence of mRNA that determines the sequence of amino acids in protein. Codons are a group of 3 adjacent bases that specify the amino acid of protein. Crackling of genetic code was done by Marshall Nierberg and Hargobind Kurma. And this is the table showing the dictionary of amino acids, code words which is present in mRNA and other triplet codons. And there are around 64 codons, including these 3 stop codons. It is also called as nonsense codons. This codon which play least role in the amino acid than the first 2 beats. They can read from 5' to 3'. If you see the characteristics of a genetic code, the genetic code characteristics is very important. That means the salient features of genetic code. The genetic codon is a triplet code. Each amino acid is represented by triplet sequence. There are 64 possible codon sequences. 3 of the 64 possible triplet do not code for any amino acid, so they are called as nonsense codon. Example for this is UAA, UAG and UGA. These are nonsense codons. And the other characteristics of genetic code is the code is almost universal. Exception to the universality of the genetic code are found in human mitochondria. UGA codes for tryptophan instead of stop codon. AUA codes for methionine instead of isoleucine. CUA codes for threonine instead of leucine. These are present in human mitochondria. The initiator codons. The example for initiator codons in eukaryotic and prokaryotes are: in eukaryotes, AUG codes for methionine, and in prokaryotes, AUG codes for N-formyl methionine. The terminator codons. Example for terminator codons are UAG amber, UGA opal, and UAA ochre. So these are some of the initiator and terminator codons. There are some exceptions related to stop codons. They are UAG, pyrrolysine, UGA, tryptophan that is found in the mitochondria of human, UGA that is selenocytosine which is the 21st amino acid found in the mitochondria of a human. So these are some exceptions. The another important characteristics of genetic code is non-overlapping and without punctuation. During translation, code is read sequentially without any spaces, taken 3 at a time. Example, if you read this code AUG, CUA, GAC and UU. So the codes are non-overlapping and without punctuations. And the other important characteristic of genetic code is it is degenerative but unambiguous. As there are 61 codons for 20 amino acids, one amino acid has more than one codon and the code is referred to as degenerative. Although an amino acid may have more than one codon, each codon specifies only one amino acid. Thus, the genetic code is unambiguous. So, if an codon specifies only one amino acid, the genetic code is unambiguous and it is a regenerative. The codons that designate the same amino acids are called as synonyms. Two amino acids, methionine AUG and tryptophan UGC, each have only one codon. So, for synonyms, the codons designate with same amino acid. The remaining amino acids have multiple codons. Example, arginine. So, the codon anticodon recognition. The codons of the mRNA is recognized by the anticodon of tRNA. They pair with each other in antiparallel direction, that is 5' to 3' of mRNA with 3' to 5' of tRNA. The usual conventional complementary base pairing. What is complementary base pairing? Adenine pairs with uracil and cytosine pair with guanine occurs between the first two bases of codon and the last two bases of anticodon. Here, conventional complementary base pairing is very important in codon and anticodon recognition. The third base of the codon is rather flexible with regard to the complementary base. So the codon have complementary base pairing with the tRNA and mRNA. The third base of the codon is flexible. The anticodon region of tRNA consists of 7 nucleotides and it recognizes the 3-letter codon in mRNA. So this is the picture showing the codons and anticodon relationship. This is the codon sequence that is present in 5' to 3' and this is the anticodon sequence that is present in tRNA. The complementary base pairing is applied to first two base sequences which is present in the codon of mRNA and it is relaxed for the third codon which is present in the mRNA. Now we are going to discuss one important hypothesis, that is the Hubble's hypothesis. Hubble hypothesis put forth by Crick is the phenomenon in which a single tRNA can recognize more than one codon. This is due to the fact that the third base in the codon often fails to recognize the specific complementary base in the anticodon, that is 5'. So this Hubble hypothesis was proposed by Crick. See, this is the picture explaining the Hubble hypothesis. This is the codon present in the mRNA from 5' to 3' and this is the anticodon present in tRNA. So tRNA and mRNA pairs in antiparallel direction, pairing at the first and the second codon and in accordance with the Wasson and Crick pairing rule, that is adenine pairs with uracil and guanine pairs with cytosine. But pairing rules are relaxed at the third place of the codon. Say for example guanine if it is placed with cytosine or with uracil. So you can see the Hubble hypothesis in this. So Hubble hypothesis is that explains the degeneracy of the genetic code, that is existence of multiple codons for a single amino acids. Although there are 61 codons for amino acids, the number of tRNA is far less, that means around 40, which is due to Hubble. So there are only 40. Next, we move on to tRNA, the adapter molecule. The transfer RNA, tRNA molecule of a cell acts as a vehicle that picks up the amino acid scattered through the cytoplasm and also reads specific codes of mRNA molecules. Hence, this tRNA is called as an adapter molecule. This term was postulated by Francis Crick. If you see the structure of tRNA, the tRNA has the clover leaf-like structure. It is synthesized in nucleus on a small part of DNA. In 1965, R.W. Hawley suggested the clover leaf model of tRNA. Though tRNA molecule consists of single strand, Each assumes a cloverleaf-like structure through folding. There are three folds in cloverleaf of tRNA. It has four arms, namely anticodon arm, D arm, TC arm, and amino acid acceptor arm. The tRNA molecule are made up of 73 to 93 ribonucleotides. The acceptor arm carries an amino acid. The anticodon arm has 3 anticodon nucleotide which will be joined with the anticodon of mRNA during protein synthesis. That is, 3 nucleotide in the tRNA pairs with 3 nucleotide of mRNA. In certain tRNA, in addition to these 4 arms, an extra arm called variable arm occurs as shown in this figure. The amino acid acceptor and anticodon arms are oriented in opposite direction. The process of addition of amino acid to tRNA is known as amino acylation or charging, and the resultant product is called as amino acyl tRNA or charged tRNA. Without amino acylation, tRNA is known as uncharged tRNA. That means if amino acid is added to tRNA, it is called charged tRNA. If amino acid is not attached to tRNA, it is called as uncharged tRNA. If two such tRNAs are brought together, polypeptide bond formation is favored energetically. Number of amino acids are joined by polypeptide bonds to form a polypeptide chain. It is nothing but a protein. This amino acylation is catalyzed by an enzyme called amino acyl tRNA synthetase. This is an endothermic reaction. That means it gives out a heat and it is associated with ATP hydrolysis. Breakdown of ATP takes place. 20 different amino acyl tRNA synthetases are known. The power to recognize codon on the mRNA lies in the tRNA and not in the attached amino acid molecule. The tRNA charged with amino acids serve as an adapter molecule to decode the information on mRNA. This is achieved by the interaction of tRNA with mRNA. The tRNA molecule has a region that contains complementary bases to the codon of the mRNA. For initiation, there is another specific tRNA that is referred to as initiator tRNA. There is no tRNAs for stop codons. The stop codons or the nonsense codons do not have the tRNA. Students, I hope you all can understand the concept well. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask me. Go through the lesson and complete the assignment. Stay safe at home. Thank you.